Hello, everyone. Today, we are shipping up to Boston to take a tour of one of baseball's most iconic stadiums, Fenway Park, home of the Boston Red Sox. Fenway Park is actually the oldest stadium in the majors, having opened in 1912, edging out Wrigley Field by 2 years, which opened in 1914. The stadium has been home to some of the most iconic moments in baseball history, including the curse of the Bambino and the end of the curse, which has seen the Red Sox win multiple World Series titles since the curse ended in 2004. The Red Sox have been the main tenant of the stadium for more than 100 years. Other teams have come and gone from the park, including the Boston Patriots, now the New England Patriots, who called the park home from 1963 to 1968. The capacity of the stadium sits around 37,000 and is located at 4 Jersey Street to the west of downtown Boston. The stadium was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 2012. Now that we've gone through a bit of background on the stadium, let's head inside and tour this iconic baseball landmark. To start the tour, we went to the Red Sox team store to check in, which is across the street from the stadium. Then we got in line for our tour near Gate D and the box office. The standard tour lasts between an hour to probably an hour 15, maybe an hour and a half, depending on how much your guide talks and how many questions people ask. I took the standard tour, but there are other types of tours as well, including the pregame tour, field level experience, and more. I will have the link to the Fenway Park tour page in the description below that goes over the different tour options, pricing, and things like that. After a security check and ticket scan, we are now inside this iconic baseball stadium. The tour starts with the guide introducing themselves and everyone gathering inside the concourse area behind home plate. Our guide was absolutely fantastic, so knowledgeable, so funny, but really all the guides there and all the workers are absolutely fantastic. Once the tour introduction's finished, we went out to get a view of the field from behind home plate on the lower grandstand level. Behind home plate is a great view, and looking out towards the rest of the park gives you a sense of all the history that has happened here. This is the spot where a photographer takes your picture and they try to sell it to you afterwards. Of course, you can always take your own pictures and videos along the way. The tour consists of walking throughout the stadium, as well as stopping here and there to hear about the history of the park and some of the iconic landmarks inside the park. The first stop is along the third baseline between home plate and the visitors' dugout. Once we finished up learning about some of the history of the stadium, at our first stop, we started walking along the third baseline towards the left field corner. Walking through the stadium at this level, you really get a feel for how old the stadium is. Most of the seats are nothing fancy, there's pillars blocking some views, you get a great sense of the historic nature of the ballpark. From here we are going to journey down the third baseline and head towards the outfield. We get a quick look at the iconic stadium scoreboard that is part of the Green Monster. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a bit. After climbing some stairs, we arrive in left field above the iconic Green Monster. At Fenway Park, there's no sight more famous than the Green Monster. Rising over left field, this 37-foot wall has been a part of the ballpark since it opened in 1912. When the stadium and the wall was built, it wasn't about tradition. It was actually built to block views from nearby rooftops and people passing by, so you couldn't watch the game for free. Originally made of wood, it was rebuilt in 1934 after a fire, this time with concrete and tin, and later painted the trademark green that gave it its famous name. In 2003, seats were added on top, giving fans one of the most unique views in baseball. Today, the Green Monster isn't just a wall, it's a symbol of Fenway Park and one of the most recognizable icons in all of sports. The seats on top of the Green Monster can be pretty pricey, but if you're a huge Red Sox fan or if it's a bucket list item, it might be worth the experience. For hitters, the Monster is both a challenge and an opportunity. The Monster makes playing left field tricky, and it can also be a pitcher's best friend by saving some line drive home runs. At the base of the Green Monster is the iconic manual scoreboard. The scoreboard is updated between innings, requiring stadium workers to jump into the field and then back under the Monster before play starts again. As we leave the Monster, we get a look at the iconic green Coca-Cola machine. Fenway has special permission from Coke to color Coca-Cola stuff green instead of the usual red. The left field corner, to the right of the green monster, is a special Coca-Cola area party deck type thing. Now we're going to travel back along the third baseline, this time on the upper deck route, past the Coca-Cola area that I mentioned beforehand. On our walk, we stopped at this small Live at Fenway Park exhibit. This area shows the list of artists who performed at Fenway Park, as well as how many times they played. They even started their own Fenway Park Music Hall of Fame, which as of my tour had 3 inductees: Billy Joel, Sir Paul McCartney, and Zac Brown Band. After checking out the Live at Fenway exhibit, we took a look at the Fenway Park Garden. The stadium has its own garden that they use for food that they sell at the ballpark. They use about 2/3 of it at the stadium, and what is left over, they donate after the season ends. We head up some more stairs and get to explore the sights of Fenway at the highest level. Looking out into the neighborhoods around Fenway when you're this high up is a really cool experience. Walking along and looking at the views of the stadium is also incredible. The playing surface looks absolutely stunning from up here. Not a blade of grass or a handful of dirt is out of place. Next up on the tour might be my favorite spot. Welcome to the press box. The press box is a little cramped by some modern standards, but it's a historic stadium after all that is over 100 years old. The different levels of the press box all mean something. It's not just sitting wherever you want if you're a writer. The groups are categorized by local writers, national writers, visiting team writers, senior writers, international writers. Everyone has an assigned area. Our guide also pointed out where Brad Pitt sat for the filming of Moneyball when he played Billy Bean. That was in the second row, sort of on the middle right section if you are curious. Looking out from the press box, the views are absolutely amazing. You get great views of the field, the green monster, Pesky's pole, and everything that makes Fenway Park so iconic. Leaving the press box, we got to walk the halls behind the press box in different broadcast booths. Walking the halls, they have iconic photos depicting Red Sox history, as well as newspaper headlines of memorable moments of the Red Sox. You get a great sense of Red Sox history and this iconic ballpark walking through these halls. Getting to explore the highest points of Fenway was really cool. The bird's eye view is something very fun to experience that on game day most people don't get to see. We've got one more stop on our stadium tour of Fenway. We are heading to right field to check out the infamous red seat. On our way there, we got to see Pesky's pole from an elevated view in the outfield. The red seat is the site of the longest home run ever hit at Fenway Park, a whopping 502 feet, hit by Ted Williams. The tour guide told a great story of the person sitting in the seat where the ball hit and what their experience was of getting hit with the ball. She also told a great story about how David Ortiz, before games, would try to hit a ball to the red seat. He would use a metal bat and couldn't hit the ball that far, and he joked that the Red Sox staff kept moving the seat farther away. And with that, that was our final stop on the tour of Fenway, but the experience wasn't over. After the tour is over, the exit takes you out through the Red Sox Hall of Fame and museum. In the museum, there are exhibits about Red Sox history, artifacts from players, and iconic moments in team history. My favorite piece would probably be the Dave Roberts base from his infamous steal in the 2004 American League Championship Series. I also thought it was cool to see the evolution of seating at Fenway Park and how it has changed over time. If you are a Red Sox fan or just a fan of baseball history, this museum is something you'd really enjoy. And after finishing up the museum, that marked the end of our experience at Fenway Park. Thanks for coming along with me to this tour of Fenway Park. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe for more sports adventures and videos to come. Have you been to Fenway Park? What do you remember about visiting the ballpark? Or is it still on your baseball bucket list to visit? What are you looking forward to seeing? Drop a comment below and let me know. Hope you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at one of America's most iconic stadiums. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.